Summary of poem Inferno by Dante Alighieri. Dante finds himself in a strange and unknown wilderness as he awakens in the middle of his life. There is a leopard, a lion, and a wolf in his way as he tries to climb a mountain. He sees the ghost of the Roman author Virgil, who tells him he needs to find a different way out of the forest. Beatrice, Dante's loving wife, has died and is now in heaven. She has sent Virgil to lead Dante through hell so that he can get to heaven through purgatory. When Dante and Virgil go to hell, they first see a group of people who are suffering because they haven't chosen to be good or bad. At the river Acheron, they meet Charon, an old man who takes people across the water to hell. At first, Charon doesn't want to take Dante because he is a living soul. But Virgil tells him that God has approved of Dante's trip, so Charon gives in. People who didn't do anything wrong but died before or without being baptized are seen by Dante in the first circle of hell. He sees many good pagans here, including well-known people from Greek and Roman history, philosophy, and writing. Virgil puts Dante in touch with Homer, Horace, Ovid, and Lucan, who are all well-known ancient poets. These writers are happy to have Dante as a friend and colleague. This is the second circle of hell that Dante goes to. It is darker and has more screaming and pain. They see Minos here. He is the judge of the underworld and decides where souls will be punished in hell. Because he is a live soul, he tries to stop Dante like Charon did. Virgil says again that Dante's trip is chosen by God, and Minos lets him go. Dante learns that the souls he sees are those of people whose sin was lust dancing in the wind and storm. Dante names a few well-known souls and, feeling sorry for them, asks if he can talk to a pair of them. Francesca de Rimini, one of the souls, tells Dante her story. She cheated on her husband with Paolo Malatesta, who is his brother. Now she and he are both being punished together. When Dante hears Francesca's story, he passes out from sadness. If you wake up Dante, you will find him in the third circle of hell, where the horrible three-headed dog Cerberus beats and bites sinners. Virgil stuffs handfuls of dirt into Cerberus' 3 mouths to calm it down so that he and Dante can walk by it. The soul of Chaco, who was punished here for being too fat, sees Dante and talks to him. It tells Dante that Florence will have trouble with the government and begs Dante to talk about him back on Earth. When Dante and Virgil try to get into the fourth circle of hell, Pluto stands in their way. Again, Virgil yells at Pluto and says that God wants Dante to go on his trip. Pluto then falls to the ground. Dante sees spendthrifts and savers of money in the fourth circle. The marsh where the river Styx ends is where Dante sees the angry beings who are always fighting each other. When Dante and Virgil get to a tower, Phlegyas meets them and takes them across the Styx by boat. Argenti grabs the boat while it's moving and asks Dante what he, a live soul, is doing there. Filippo is pushed back into the muddy water by Virgil. Dante and Virgil reach the gate of Dis after crossing the Styx. Evil spirits blocked the gate and wouldn't let Virgil and Dante through. When the Furies show up, they say they will call Medusa to turn Dante into stone. Virgil tells Dante to close his eyes, but an angel shows up before Medusa does. The angel scolds the people of Dis for trying to stop Dante's trip and then uses a wand to open the gate. As Dante and Virgil walk through the gate, they see a field with burning tombs where criminals are sent to be punished. Dante talks to Farinata, a fellow Florentine who is one of these rebels. Cavalcante de Cavalcante comes up to Dante and asks about his son, who is one of Dante's friends. He wants to know about Farinata. Dante is told by Farinata that people in hell can see the future but not the present. Dante and Virgil get to a cliff with a view of the lower parts of hell. Virgil suggests that they take a break to get used to the smell of lower hell. He also uses this time to show Dante how the rest of hell is laid out. Virgil takes Dante to the seventh circle of hell. On their way there, the Minotaur, a creature that is half bull and half man, blocks their way. The thing gets angry when Virgil insults it, so Dante and Virgil can sneak past. Virgil talks about the Phlegathon, which is a river of hot blood where people who hurt others are punished. Along the riverbanks, centaurs watch to make sure that no souls leave. They find Dante and Virgil talks the horse Nessus into letting Dante ride him across a shallow part of the Phlegethon. He and Dante then go into a dark forest where harpies live. A branch from a tree bleeds and cries out in pain when Dante cuts it off. It turns out that the tree is the ghost of Pier del Vigna, who killed himself. Pier says that the dead people's souls come to this area and turn into trees. The harpies then eat their leaves, which hurts them a lot. Out of nowhere, two guys running while being chased by dogs appear. One tries to hide by jumping into a bush, but the dogs find them and eat them. Then Dante talks to the bush, which turns out to be the soul of a man who used to be alive. This man ran into a bush and hurt it. The bush told Dante that he was from Florence and asked Dante to pick up its fallen leaves. Dante does that and then moves on. Dante goes with Virgil to a desert with hot dirt and fire falling from the sky. Dante sees many sinners going around in the desert or lying in the hot sands. One of them is Capaneus, a giant man who looked down on God. It is safe for Virgil and Dante to stand by a river when the sands and dropping fire are around them. Before they go any further, Virgil tells them that the rivers in hell come from the tears of a huge man who lives under Crete. As Dante walks along the river, he runs into his old master, Brunetto Latini. Latini tells Dante that he will be famous and names some famous sinners who are nearby. Latini tells Dante to remember the thesaurus, his work, so that he can live on through it. Once Dante has left Latini behind, he is stopped by three important Florentines, Guido Guerra, Teggio Aldobrandi, and Jacopo Rusticucci. They tell Dante to try to become famous, criticize how well he speaks, and ask him about Florence. After that, Dante and Virgil reach a place where the river crashes into a huge waterfall that leads to the eighth circle of hell. Virgil throws Dante's rope belt over the falls, which makes a huge monster fly up to where they are standing. Geryon is the monster with wings. Virgil talks to him and gets him to take Dante and him to the eighth circle. This circle of hell is made up of 10 circular ditches that surround a deep well. In the first trench, Dante sees Venetico Caxianemico, who tells him that he sold his sister to a lustful lord, and he also sees the mythical hero Jason. Alessio Interminii is a flatterer that Dante sees in the second trench. Virgil points out Thais, a prostitute who told her lovers that having sex with them was a miracle. Dante sees Simonists in the third trench. These were people who bought and sold holy things, church jobs, or pardons. Pope Nicholas III is one of them. He is angry and says that his successor as pope will soon join him here. Besides that, he thinks the next pope will be even worse than the current one. Priests and seers live in the fourth cave. Because they tried to see too far ahead, their heads are now turned around and looking out over their backs. This means they can only see backwards and have to walk backwards too. Dante starts to cry when he sees how badly people are hurt, and Virgil tells him that he is wrong to cry over God's justice. 3 well-known seers from Greek legend are named by Virgil: Amphiaraos, Tiresias, and Manto. Some demons try to attack Virgil in the 5th trench, but he talks to them and tells them that he and Dante are on a trip that God has planned. This group of demons is led by Malakota, who sends some demons to lead Dante and Virgil to the next trench. As Virgil and Dante walk along, the devils pull a sinner from the pitch and talk to them. The sinner says he is from Navarre. He tells Dante that if he can stop the demons from hurting him, he will call 7 Italians who are on the field forward. The devils are arguing about this possible deal, but the sinner jumps back into the pitch to get away from them. Hypocrites move slowly in the 6th ditch because their heavy lead-lined cloaks make them feel heavy. In this part, Dante talks to 2 friars, who also point out Caiaphas, who planned to kill Jesus and is now being killed on the ground. Dante sees snakes and lizards running after sinners and stinging them in the 7th trench. A snake bites one man, and he burns to ashes. But right away, the ashes come together to make the man again. This man says his name is Vanni Fucci and that he broke into a church. Vanni swears at God and then runs away with a snake around his throat. Dante sees 4 souls, a worm with 6 legs, 3 men, and a woman. The worm grabs one of the guys and holds on until they merge into one thing. It then slips away. A lizard comes up and swaps bodies with one of the men. The third man then runs after the lizard. In the 8th gap, Dante sees a lot of fiery things. Virgil tells him that there is a sinner's soul under every spark. He shows Dante Ulysses and Diomedes' twin flames and talks to them for Dante. Ulysses tells them his story. He tried to sail to the end of the world after coming back from the Trojan War, but God destroyed his ship and he drowned. Before Dante and Virgil leave this trench, they talk to Guido de Montefeltro, an Italian who is in jail because he lied to the Pope. The Pope told Guido that he would not be punished for his sins before he did them, but Guido did not actually change his mind, so he still went to hell. Dante sees Sowers of Discord in the 9th trench. A devil with a sword actually cuts them open. He talks to Muhammad and Pierre de Medicina, who tells him about some more bad people. Dante sees Bertrand de Born, whose head has been cut off because he got a king to kill his father. He holds his head in his hands as he walks. Dante looks around for his late cousin Jerry del Bello, but Virgil tells him that Jerry has already passed by and is mad at Dante. Dante knows Jerry is mad that no one in their family has killed and avenged his death. Dante and Virgil keep going until they reach the 10th trench. In the 10th ditch, there are souls who lie and are sick with terrible diseases. Griffolino d'Arezzo and Capocchio are 2 alchemists that Dante talks to. He sees 2 other souls running around wild, and Griffolino figures out that they are Johnny Schicchi and Mira. Adam is an Italian faker from Brescia who is horribly swollen and fat. Dante then talks to Adam. Here are 2 more rebels that Adam names, Sinan and Potiphar's wife. He then gets into a fight with Sinan. Dante finds it fun to watch the 2 sinners fight, and Virgil scolds him for finding this disgusting entertainment fun. Dante and Virgil keep going forward, and Dante thinks he sees towers around a well off in the distance. When Dante gets closer, he sees that they are giants because the bottom halves of their bodies are stuck into the ground. Virgil names a few of the giants and then talks to Antaeus, one of the giants who is free to move around. Antaeus takes Virgil and Dante and drops them off at the bottom of the well that goes to the 9th circle of hell. The frozen Lake Cocytus is in the lowest circle of hell. Sinners are frozen in the ice, and most of them can only see their heads above the water. Before stepping on Bacca degli Abbati's head by mistake, Dante talks to a few souls. Dante gets angry and grabs Bacca's hair, threatening to pull it out if he doesn't tell him his name. He still doesn't say his name, but another soul calls out to him and tells him. Bacca is an enemy to Florence, and Dante tells him that his name will be remembered for a long time. Dante sees 2 souls stuck together, one of them eating the head of the other. A person eating the head of the other person tells him that his name is Count Ugolino from Pisa and that he is eating Archbishop Ruggieri's head. Ruggieri locked Ugolino and his kids up in a tower and left them there to die of hunger. Dante sees Friar Alberico and Branca d'Oria, 2 more bad people whose souls went to hell before they died. Then Dante sees Lucifer, whose huge body sticks out of the ice. He has 3 mouths, and each one has a sinner in it. The mouth in the middle holds Judas, while the other 2 eat Brutus and Cassius. As they climb up Lucifer's body and out of hell, Dante holds on to Virgil. When they get to a rock outcropping, they walk into a cave where the Lethe River starts as a small stream. They get to the island where Purgatory is by climbing out of a hole. Dante finally gets out of hell and looks up. He can see the bright stars again.
About the poet. Dante Alighieri was born in Florence around 1265. He is now known as the greatest poet in Italian writing and is sometimes called the father of the Italian language for standardizing an Italian dialect. Dante grew up in Florence during a time when politics were unstable and there were regular fights between different political groups. It is not clear how rich his family was, but he was neither very poor nor very good. He was supposed to marry Gemma di Manetto Donati, a woman from a noble family, but he fell in love with a woman named Beatrice, who shows up a lot in his poems. Along with other smart men from Florence, like Brunetto Latini, who features in the Inferno, Dante started a literary movement based on a style called Dolce Stil Nuovo, which means sweet new style. Dante was kicked out of Florence for life because he supported a lost political group. It was while he was away that he wrote the Divine Comedy. Not only did he write La Vita Nuova, a piece about his love for Beatrice, but he also wrote some other smaller pieces. Dante died shortly after finishing the Divine Comedy and was buried in Ravenna.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.